Hello everybody, and thank you for joining us today for our TESOL courses webinar. So my name is Lucy Welch. I'm a Student Enquiries Advisor, so you may recognise my name if we've spoken on the phone or via email before. So just to give you a bit more information about this webinar, as attendees, your mics and videos have been turned off, so you'll just need to interact with us on the chat and Q&A functions. So if you do have a question, we think the way to get the most out of this webinar would be to wait to ask your question at the end, and you can write your question in the Q&A section on the right hand side of your screen. And if you think anyone else's question in the Q&A section is particularly relevant to you, or you'd like to be answered more imminently, then you can upvote their question and that will jump to the top of the queue. So with that being said, we will also be sending a recording of this webinar around in the next few days. And so I'll just hand over to Anne and Eddie and they can get on with the presentation.
Hi, this is Eddie. I'm here by myself today. Anne cannot be here, so I'm doing this, it's just me. So anyway, I'd like to say hi to everyone and welcome to this webinar focusing on Stirling University's TESOL MSc courses. We're going over quite a lot of information today, and if it's not relevant to your specific interests, please be patient. There'll be a lot that is relevant, and there will be time for your questions after I finish the presentation. So Stirling, let's look at Stirling first. We're in Scotland and not far from Edinburgh and Glasgow. We're more or less in the middle between those two places. We're a 45-minute drive from Edinburgh Airport and about 50 minutes from Glasgow Airport. It's on. Right. Okay, everyone, I hope that you can hear me now. For some reason, the audio was cut off, and I'll continue with where I was. Okay, so we're well connected internationally, although it looks like although we are in Scotland, our connections by from international airports are very good. Now, moving on to the University of Stirling itself, we're a medium-sized university with a total of just over 14,000 students. About 4,000 of these are postgraduates. We're very international, with over 120 nationalities represented on our campus, and 20% of our students are from overseas. Now, the International Student Barometer for 2016 says that we're very highly ranked by this. Overall, we're third in Scotland, but we have #1 ranking for welcoming international students and the quality of our teachers and our facilities, our campus environment, our sports facilities, and which brings us to our next slide. Our campus. Our campus is regarded as the most beautiful in Europe. The university is surrounded by beautiful hills and is designed around a loch. That's what we call a lake in Scotland. The photographs on top are of student accommodation, and you can see from the other photos that you will have a very comfortable and pleasant environment to live and study in. The overall feeling when you're on campus is that it's like a nature park. You can't see many buildings because there are so many trees, and there are a lot of animals and so on, rabbits and squirrels running around. Also, our sports facilities are world class, and if you like to keep fit or practice a particular sport, you'll find excellent opportunities here, and it's really cheap too. Now, living in Stirling now, the campus is built in the countryside, but it's right next to the city of Stirling. There are frequent bus services to and from the uni and the town that take about 10 minutes. Although it's technically a city, it's more like a big town. There's plenty of nightlife, cultural events, large shopping centres, and several Chinese supermarkets if you need these. And it's a friendly and safe place. Now, regarding living costs, this really depends on you, but compared to the rest of the UK, the cost of living is quite reasonable. If you study here for a year, you should plan on having between £8,400 and £10,600 to cover food, accommodation and entertainment and so on for the whole year. Now, our study facilities are very good. In fact, excellent. We have a brand new library that is state of the art. It doesn't even look like a library, but it has everything you need. Modern universities are highly digital, and you'll find that you don't use a lot of as much hard copy as you did before. A lot of our resources are online, and lecture material like class notes will be delivered through our virtual learning environment, Canvas. Now, let's talk about TESOL. Our students have a choice of 5 master's degrees plus PhD. The master's courses are MSc in TESOL, which you can also do online, Education Studies and TESOL, Management and English Language Teaching, and Translation Studies and TESOL. So why study TESOL at Stirling? Students come to us for different reasons, but probably the biggest reason is our ranking. Education Studies within the Faculty of Social Sciences includes TESOL, and it's ranked 8th in the UK on the Guardian rankings, and it's top 10 in the Times and Complete University Guide. Our local students might be interested to know that we're first in Scotland by the Guardian rankings. And another reason to come to us is that we have flexible courses in terms of content, and you can study full-time or part-time. Most importantly, you'll be taught by a team of highly experienced practitioners who have worked all over the world, and you will be part of a diverse community of learners. After you complete your master's study, you also have the opportunity to continue to do a PhD with us. Other reasons to study with us are our placement opportunities. During the year, you will have the chance to see real classes and experience the UK education system. But after you graduate, if you pass our selection procedure, you can do a 3-month teaching placement in Europe or Japan. Of the students who graduated in 2017, a total of 9 students did this. That was actually 20% of the total cohort. These 3 photos here are of our students enjoying their placements. You can see that it looks like they were having a good time. Now, the MSc TESOL. Let's have a quick look at each of our MSc degrees. And first we'll look at the MSc TESOL. This is the degree that most of our students do. The key point about this degree is that it's aimed at both novice and experienced teachers. If you've never taught before, but you want to learn how to teach, this is what we will do. We'll teach you how to teach. If you're experienced already, then you have options to extend what you already know. Modules are delivered through a combination of online video tutorials, workshops, and seminars. We don't do lectures, and our approach is very practical. Students are supported in understanding input and in doing assignments through supplementary online materials. Teaching staff will also be available to help when needed. There are 3 pathways that you can take leading to 3 different named degrees under the MSc TESOL. You can graduate with an MSc TESOL, and most of our students who have no teaching experience will take this. However, if you are more experienced and you're interested in something more theoretical, you can graduate with the MSc TESOL Applied Linguistics. And to do this, you need to take theory modules like discourse analysis or grammar for TESOL. If you're interested in using technology, you can take our computer-assisted learning modules, that's CALL, C-A-L-L, and graduate with a MSc TESOL CALL. These are quite popular with our students as they help to differentiate themselves from other graduates who have generic TESOL master's degrees. Now let's look at the MSc TESOL content. Now, the content of the MSc TESOL is aimed at giving you a comprehensive training. I won't go over each module as you can find this in our online information, but you'll do 3 modules in semester 1 and 3 or 4 modules in semester 2. Then in the summer, you do a dissertation or a call portfolio if you're doing the MSc TESOL call. Now, here we have 2 testimonials from one from a local Scottish student who works in Bolivia and one from a Thai student. I won't read them word for word as you can access them in the recording of this webinar. The key points are that they like the multicultural experience and the placement opportunities. Now the MSc TESOL online. Now our MSc TESOL has an online variant. This is done over a period of just over 2 years. And although the course is fully online, you have the opportunity to attend classes on campus if you want to, with no extra charge. Modules are delivered with a combination of video tutorials, followed up with online group discussion tasks. Like our on-campus MSc TESOL, online students can graduate with 3 variations: the MSc TESOL, the MSc TESOL Call, and MSc TESOL and Corpus Linguistics. Now, looking at the MSc TESOL content online, the delivery of the online TESOL course is done 1 module at a time. Each module is run over 8 weeks, with a few weeks in between to allow for time to do the module assignment. Each week you will have a video tutorial input followed by the online group discussion task, which also involves communication with the tutor. You can see the actual modules here. key points are that you have a choice between doing technologies in the 21st century classroom, which is CALL, or Corpora in English language research. You would do these if you choose one of the variants of the MSc TESOL. Also, if you have a Delta, you are exempted from TESOL methodology in Year 1 and grammar for TESOL in Year 2. Now, moving on to the MSc Education Studies and TESOL. This is designed for experienced teachers or those who possibly have just graduated with an education degree. It gives you the opportunity to learn more about education theory and how education is practiced in the UK. You don't have to be a TESOL teacher, but there is a strong TESOL component. You will spend time in local schools and find out what the UK education system is really like and how we deal with issues which may be only beginning to be addressed in your own education system, such as difference, diversity, and inclusion. Now, this is the course content for Education Studies and TESOL, and you'll see that it's somewhat different from the MSc TESOL. Particularly in semester 2, you will do a module called Difference and Diversity. This involves going into schools and spending time in classes with the teachers and children. Now, the MSc Management and English Language Teaching is designed for students who might be experienced teachers who see themselves in a management role. It is suitable for students with no teaching experience. Management input focuses on managing in the multicultural environments typical of language departments and training centres, and is delivered in the Stirling School of Management. Now, the taught content for the MSc in Management and English Language Teaching is a balance of TESOL and management. In the summer, you will do a TESOL dissertation that can have a management component if you wish. Previous students. Now, this is a comment from a previous student on the MSc MELT. You will see that she focuses on what she has learned from living here, the benefits of her career, and the placement that she did. Now, the MSc Translation Studies and TESOL. The MSc in Translation Studies and TESOL is popular with students who are primarily translators but who also teach. It's very common to find translators who top up their income with teaching and teachers who do some translation. The course trains you in translation and teaching skills. Because translation is language specific, to gain entry to the course, you need to have at least near native competence or hold a degree in one of the following languages: Chinese, French, German, Spanish, or English. Now, here is the content of this course. You'll see that the emphasis is on translation, but there is a strong component of TESOL in each semester. In the summer, you will do a translation dissertation. And this is what a previous student has said. It's interesting that she comments on having two career options, translation and teaching. moving on. Employability and career paths. As a student and also as a graduate of the university, you will have the full support of our Career Development Centre. During the academic year, we run a series of workshops, My Career in TESOL, to help you get a job and develop once you have a job. For example, workshop topics include writing a CV, doing interviews, and continuing professional development. For experienced teachers, the qualification has proven to be valuable in getting a step up in their career by, for example, working for the British Council or in universities around the world. Now, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Now, okay. I can answer on the mic. Okay. All right. So, sorry, Adam. The placements are 3-month placements. They start in September and run for 3 months. During the year, we advertise the placements, and you have to do an interview to be accepted for them. This year, we have placements in Germany, Hungary, and Japan. Last year, we had placements in Germany, Hungary, and Brazil, but Brazil's on hold this year. Now, you have to pay your own living costs and your transportation to get there, but it's paid teaching experience, which is great to put on your CV. And it's also working in either high schools or in universities, teaching at that level. Now, how many placements are available? There are quite a lot of places available. Last year, 9 students out of a total of 45 were able to go on placement. So that's like 20% of the total number of students. There are more available. It's just that not everyone is suitable for the places that we have. So we do an interview process because some students might want to go, but they have to demonstrate a commitment, because we don't want people who are going to go and then after a couple of weeks say, oh, I don't like it here. So they need to be the kind of people that we are confident in to complete the 3 months. Robert Walker, are the online textbooks enough for TESOL course, or how much more recommended for completing the course? Well, sorry, I didn't want to give the impression that everything is online. You have full access to our library if you're an on-campus student. But but there is a good supply, a good range of digitized textbooks. I myself tend to make use of these more than the hard copy books myself when I'm doing my own research or preparing classes and so on. So although if you limited yourself to what's online, you'd find it maybe a little bit difficult, but if you're an online student, you'll probably find it adequate, at least as adequate, more than you would have had, say, 10 years ago when this kind of stuff didn't exist. Hope that helps. Any other questions? Chat. No. If you're, Adam, if you're asking about the face-to-face course, the reading lists, we don't really put out reading lists now because we have texts, recommended text listed on the website that goes with the course. You would get access to the library when you register as a student. Robert, how regular can you contact the teachers? Well, we have what we call office hours, and you can come along during those hours. It'd be once a week for 2 or 3 hours that we'd be available officially. Unofficially, my door's always open, and I think most of my colleagues are quite happy to have a chat when you need it. Adam, yeah, would you only get access when the course starts? I think so. You'd have to be a registered student really to get access, unless you've actually enrolled and paid your tuition fees and so on. Students that usually don't get access to things. Susan, are those doing the face-to-face course expected to be on campus every day? No. You come and go as you please. If you have class, then there's an attendance requirement for classes. If you miss more than 3 classes, you're going to have to answer some serious questions, and your grade might be capped at 50. That's if you miss more than 3. But generally speaking, we don't have a problem with that. If you take, say, if you have 3 courses in a week, 3 courses in a semester, 3 modules, that's 1 class per module. So you have to attend 3 classes. The so they might be on different days. So you'd only be expected to be here on, you'd only be here on 3 days. Sometimes you might have 2 classes in one day, in which case you'd only be here for the 2 days. Also if you have, if say you're actually working at the same time as studying, our method of input is actually quite flexible, because a lot of my input is through video tutorials, and the same for my colleagues. We're not all the same in the way that we do it, but a lot of the input is through video tutorials, so you can watch that anytime you like, and when we have class, it's mainly discussion activities and so on. We've had students before who've, for example, had teenage children who are quite troublesome, and they're very busy with their families, and they find that 8 o'clock on Saturday morning is the quiet time in the house, and so they access the materials then. Hope that helps. Adam, just wondering if there were any recommended things to read before the course started. I would say read any of the general textbooks that are available, such as Harmer, The Practice of English Language Teaching, or Hedge, Teaching and Learning in the Language Classroom, or anything like Thornberry, like that. General things like that will help you get a good start. Robert, payment plan. I think that's a question for QS. Any other questions, guys? Okay, guys, I know that you're probably in parts of the world where it's getting late now. I see Robert, yeah. Thank you for attending the webinar, and I'll hand over to my colleagues to wrap up. And if you've got any questions, please feel free to email me or whatever. Okay, no problem with that. Okay, bye, guys.
So just to echo what Edward just said, thank you very much for attending today. If you do have any further questions over the coming days or weeks, then do feel free to email us at study@stir.ac.uk, and we'll be able to answer your questions as quickly as possible. And do keep an eye on your inboxes as well for the recording that we'll be sending around too. So have a nice evening or day or whatever time it is for you, and we hope to see you at Stirling in September.